So hello everyone, welcome to the first video in the OS playlist. Basically this is the proper first video, the OS 0, the 0th video of this playlist, and in this I will be discussing about what all topics we will be covering during the playlist, during the series of operating system. So firstly we would be covering the main functions of OS. So in the initial videos, we will be discussing about the overview of the OS, what all features does an OS have, what is actually an OS, and then we will come to the main functions, and then we will get into them in detail. So what are the main functions? So briefly, they are these main four functions are the main ones, that is process management, memory management, device management, storage management, and these have their own subtopics as well. So for process management, it is really a large topic and it has several subtopics, the main ones being processes, threads, process synchronization, CPU scheduling, and deadlocks. And for storage management, we have subtopics: mass storage, file system, input output systems. Memory management and device management are relatively smaller topics, and they don't have many subtopics or of huge importance that they should be highlighted separately in this video. But yeah, we will be discussing all of these four functions of OS, these four responsibilities of OS in depth. And obviously there is this other topics thing which I have started. Why I have started? Because I may or may not cover all of the subtopics of these other topics in depth. They will be covered at different point of times. They would be coming in between and going out wherever they are relevant, wherever we will be discussing about them. So maybe like protection and security might come at the end, while we would be discussing briefly about these different types of OSs: embedded, multimedia, real-time, distributed, during even the initial part or maybe in between whenever it is required, right? So this is not the main part. The main part is this, that actually comprises the operating system and its main features. Obviously, what is the textbook? Because there must be some material which I will be referring to pass on that content to you. So this is that source, that is the operating system concepts book, the textbook by Silverskatz, Galvin and Gagné, the 9th edition, and this is the most standard book used anywhere. Whoever will teach operating system, I will also do the same, nothing else. Just my aim is to differentiate on the quality of the content that is available across YouTube or any other platform you find. So my main aim is to simplify the studies of these subjects as compared to your college studies, right? So that's all. And what about prerequisites? So what I want you to already know before starting this playlist is C programming. At this point of time, while I am recording this video, I haven't recorded a special OS -1 lecture which will be covering all the fundamentals and the prerequisites that are required for OS, that is of C programming. But yeah, I have attached some links in the description. You can refer them, and if you are seeing at this point of time where this video already exists, then you might find it in the suggested videos list, so you can go there and watch it. Coming to requirements, so what are the requirements that I want you to have are the access to Linux kernel. So basically, why I want you to have an access to Linux kernel? Because of the Linux command line. While we will be discussing about OS, it will be closely related with dealing with system calls, that how do you interact with an OS, not via a graphical user interface but via command line, like you directly interact in the language of OS, right? So for that I would need you to have the access to Linux kernel OS. We will discuss about this thing also. It's a debate, other thing, that we call it kernel or OS. It's different point of views, but that's not the point here. I just want you to have access to Linux, that's the point. And there is a condition: if you are a Mac user, then you don't need to do any of these four steps. You can directly use the terminal on your Mac. That would be sufficient, because Mac command line almost accepts all the Linux commands, so the work would be same only. Just the graphical user interface would be of Mac, but the command line would be of Linux, would be accepting Linux commands, right? But in case you are on Windows, I have these are the 4 methods by which you can run Linux commands on your Windows machine. One is just having the OS. You remove Windows, install Linux, right, in a flash drive. Remove Windows from your laptop and install Linux. So basically your laptop is now running on Linux only. Windows is nowhere there. But I wouldn't recommend it, right? I wouldn't recommend this method. So I wouldn't recommend this method if you are watching this playlist, because this is recommended only for high suitable professionals, right? I am making this video and with respect to my target audience, who is college students, undergraduate CSE students, right? So I would not recommend this at this point of time, nor would I recommend dual boot, that you run Windows and Linux simultaneously, because you don't need it at this point of time too much, unless you are a Linux enthusiast and you just want to have both on their machine. It's your choice. I'm just giving my suggestion. What I would recommend are these 2 methods, that is the virtual machine and WSL2. WSL2 is basically the second version of WSL. What is WSL? WSL is Windows, right, subsystem for Linux, right? So this is I have attached some links to the documentations and 1 or 2 videos. I hope so I have attached. You can go there and see those videos if you want to go with this method. Basically what it does is it basically runs Linux like an app on your Windows machine only, right? And it consumes the least memory among all of these options, right? Your Linux will consume the least memory in this option. Virtual machine is like, you always have to give that static memory. You have to allot about maybe 1 GB, 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB RAM, whatever you allot. But you will, once you start that machine, so I have attached the link of a video for VirtualBox installation as well. The VirtualBox, the Oracle VirtualBox, Oracle Virtual Machine, and where you can run different Linux distros. What are distros? So various Linux distributions, right? So I have attached the link to that also, you can see there. But the main point is that here you will have to statically allocate some memory, and it will, whenever you start a machine, that memory would go away from Windows. While in WSL you can always even if your machine is consuming 10 MB of memory, you won't have to just keep aside 2 GB of your RAM, right? 2 GB of your memory for Linux. So I think this is the best option, but it is a bit complex method. That's why most people prefer virtual machines. So you can go with this option if you are not able to do so with the WSL thing. So that's all for this video, and let's meet in the next one with the OS 1.